Drew, welcome back to the SMMA Masterclass on Systemizing Your Agency. You made it. It's the 5th episode, and if you missed the previous ones, make sure you go back because they all flow one after the other. And if you miss one, these masterclasses will not make sense. You will have an incomplete project, and I want to make sure you guys get the most out of these masterclasses. So let's jump into our masterclass today, which is going to revolve around optimization. And with these process-based maps, I'm always hesitant to show people process-based maps because they are meant to be for certain points of the business and certain inflection points. And I will say on process-based maps, you have to have your minimum viable system set up first. So I'll say it one more time. If you missed the previous episodes, go back and watch those because that is going to set you up for the most success. Now, and number two is if a system is so broken and you don't know how or where to start fixing it, this would be a good exercise to do. So if you don't have a ton of bandwidth, but there is something really broken inside of your agency right now that needs attention, this would be a good exercise to go in and kind of figure out what's going on with it. Now, this will be a very effective use of your time if, once again, you have a larger team, 15 plus or more, or if you have a full-time operations manager or COO, this would be very effective for them. This is where they should be spending time figuring out optimizations to increase your bottom line. Now, when it comes to metric-based process mapping, basically this is just going to be a visual tool for you guys, which is going to integrate a couple different things. One being swim lane process maps. Yeah. And you guys probably have seen swim lane process maps before. They're very effective in showing step by step exactly what needs to get done. The second thing it's going to include is what we call lean metrics. And if you guys aren't familiar with lean methodology, this is specifically going to talk about kind of Toyota's principles on lean manufacturing. But the main things that we'll be kind of focusing on here is delivery time of a certain part of the process and quality of that process actually getting completed. And then the last piece is going to be the lean principles, which talks to the flow value to the customer. So when the process is actually completed, the end product, is it valuable for our clients? Okay. Now, this will also help us highlight any disconnects, wastes, and delays in the process. That's why we do these process-based maps, is so we can find where the waste is and be able to eliminate that in order to bring more profit to the bottom line, make our team more efficient, more effective. And this is going to enable us to kind of set the standard of work and put trainings and better process monitoring in place based off of how the work should actually get done. Okay. Now, in order to set this up and where to start, well, one, we have to pick a process. And when you guys are picking a process, really, we should be searching for the most troublesome thing first, a thing that is really difficult for you guys to accomplish, things that maybe get done inaccurately in the business and that you're not exactly happy with the final outcome. Okay. From there, we're going to create an activity card for each step in that process. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. And then from there, we're going to plug people in. And that will be step number 2, is that we actually have to plug the people that do the work into the process. Okay. Place each activity card in the row of the person who actually does that activity. And then step 3 is simply adding metrics. So we'll go back through at the very end and add metrics like the step number, the percent of accuracy it's completed, the process time, and the lead time. Now, we're not going to zoom in very far on the percent accuracy, the process time, and the lead time today, but I will give you guys an idea of what that looks like, and you guys can go and deploy it yourself. But you'll need better time management and the ability to see how long it actually takes. So a lot of time tracking involved, and I don't want to focus on the time tracking. I want to focus on the process maps. So when it comes to building these process maps, you're going to have these activity cards, okay? And you're going to see different boxes on the activity card. Well, the big box is simply just the activity or the step name of whatever step it is in the process of the work being done. In the top right-hand corner, we have the step number, really self-explanatory there. And then in the bottom, which you'll probably be a little bit confused on at the beginning, is the percent completed and accurately. Okay, so basically talking about when the step is done by the team, what percentage is it done, one, complete and full, and then also accurately. And for this, it might be a gauge currently of just a guesstimate. But as you collect more information, as you do more time tracking with your team, when things are not being completed, you can track those percentage numbers. Now, for the timing, this is probably more of a gut feeling than anything. And then from there, we move into process time. Process time is how much time is actually spent working on this step. So this is what we consider like touch time of like our team is physically working on this activity. And then the third box is going to be the lead time. Now, lead time is completely different from process time. Lead time talks about from the time that the process actually starts to the time that the process actually ends. Now, this will include turnaround time or any lag time in that process of like when it's not being worked on as well. And the whole goal of these activity cards is how can we get our process time down and how can we get our lead time down? And to give you guys a better visualization of what this would actually look like is this graph right here. Okay. Now, the lead time, once again, is the work is received. So, whatever process you might say onboarding as an example here, the work is received. And then by the end, the work is passed to the next process or the next department. So this might be how you pass onboarding into your fulfillment team. And we'll touch on a little bit of that today. Okay. Now, the process time includes that work is idle time. And that's the time between when the work is received and then when the process time actually starts and the process time ends, and then any lag time or idle time until the actual process is passed to the next step. Okay. Now, that process time, once again, is going to be that touch time when your team is actually physically working on the project or on a specific piece of that process. Now, going into the actual process map itself, this is an example of an onboarding process plus the first 30 days of deployment with this. This is one that we actually built out with one of our clients. And you could see on the left-hand side here, we have all of the teammates. Now, normally we would assign these names, but obviously we wanted to keep the names out. So we simply just have the position inside of there, but you can put a actual name of the person that does this step. Now, at the top, I always put automated because I always want to keep automations top of mind. We don't try and automate every single step, but we do try to add in some automations to get our process and lead times down a little bit. Okay. From there, we have an account executive, an account manager, a project manager, and a designer in these steps. Now, I could go through and I'll provide this template for you guys as well. That way you can see this. I don't want to go through and read all of these cards individually just for the sake of the video. And I'm sure if I started doing that, I would get a lot of drop off on the watch time. But this is what it would look like. Everything from the client signs the contract, and then all of a sudden we have some automations that fire through Zapier, right? We assign a certain teammate to the tasks. We have our onboarding calls and our prep calls for the onboarding. Okay. And then you can see as it just flows all the way into the end of the process, which is going to be the monthly client reporting call. Okay. Now, with this first onboarding process plus the 30 days, sometimes we segment it into just an onboarding process. For this specific client, we had a very simple onboarding process. So we rolled the first 30 days in as well, because that's what they wanted to see. Okay. Now, when we go to optimize some of these pieces, we're going to look at first what can be automated. And then from there, we're going to also look at, well, where's the current waste? What steps need to be included or taken away to make this the most efficient process possible? Now, if we looked at an ideal first 30 days, I made two minor changes to this process map. Okay. When the teammates are being assigned, that was getting done manually by, I believe, the account manager. Yeah, the account manager assigning the teammate to the task. That can simply be automated. And so we pulled that into an automation and we labeled it this yellow card to say this is the change that's going to happen. Now, when we make these changes, we of course have to go back to our SOPs and we have to change the Loom video and the written portion of the SOP to match this. But this is going to create efficiency within the business, right? Assigning teammates to the task, that can be an automated process. Same thing with sending the recap email to a client. We have all of these note takers nowadays that can send out meeting notes post call automatically without us having to touch anything. So that was something that we added to the automated process of sending a recap email. Now, if there's something specific, of course, that you need to send in the recap email that is specific to that client, of course, we want to do that. But for this, it was just a recap of, hey, this is what we talked about on the call. So once again, that can be automated. Let AI take over that as needed. Okay. Now, you'll want to take these new steps and once again add them into your current SOP. Do not skip that step because your team will be really confused on why you're upset that a process has changed and you didn't update the SOP or update how things are actually getting done. So make sure you make those updates if you're going to integrate some of these process maps. But you guys, Systemization of your agency is going to be one of the most important things for two different reasons. One, so you can get the best exit possible on your business, but also so you can bring more profit to the bottom line. So whether you are optimizing for cash flow, whether you are optimizing for an acquisition at some point in time, these are the things that need to be done in order to get the highest multiple and to drive the most profit into the business. And if you're not doing those things, then chances are your multiple is going to diminish, your profit's going to diminish, and we're not going to have the most efficient and effective agency. And the last time I checked, that's what we're all in the game to do, is either make a crap ton of profit or exit for a massive multiple one day. So if you guys are excited to be building a business that is scalable and will bring profit in and it will one day be exitable, then these are the steps that are necessary. It's the boring work, it's the mundane work, but is 100% effective and is proven to show systemized businesses sell for more and create more profit. So we'll see you guys in the next masterclass. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, because we have more masterclasses rolling out over the next few months. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.